Okay, so I had a lot of interest in my tutorial about dressing your partial suit, so I'm gonna talk about it. And so I'm recording this before I'm doing any editing and adding in like examples of the things that I'm gonna talk about. So just a warning in case anything is like weirdly timed or anything like that. So I'm just gonna get into it. And as a sort of I don't want to say warning, but precursor, I guess, to what I'm gonna talk about is that this is just my opinions on this stuff. So, you know, there's no like proper way to dress a suit. This is just my opinion and my observations after having been a partial fursuit for over a year now, be that as it may. I think partialing is way harder to pull off than being in a full suit, because in a full suit your entire body is masked and it sort of comes together uniformly, and you have the bodysuit, the head, the paws, the feet paws, whereas in a partial you're sort of limited on the number of parts that you have, right? So myself, I have paws, arm sleeves, a head, a tail, leg sleeves, and I also have a kigurumi, but I'm not going to talk about that in this video. So, one aspect about fursuits that I feel like I should talk about is that it makes you look bigger, right? I think that's something we can all agree on. You see my tiny, tiny little hand here? Look at that. Look how much bigger that makes it look, right? That's why partialing is harder than full suiting, because you have to keep the illusion, so to speak, whether or not you're a big walking, talking, or not, animal. So, in my opinion, if you don't dress yourself correctly, your body is going to look disjointed, proportionally incorrect. So I'm going to talk about some guidelines that I have noticed and thought about in terms of partialing and clothes for all body types, because I feel that the guidelines would be different whether you're a big person, a skinny person, a medium-sized person, you know. So I'm just going to cover all the bases. So I'm going to start out by talking about bigger people, because I am a bigger people. So I'm talking about what I know, what I've seen of myself, and what I've observed personally. As a bigger person, I feel like I have an advantage when it comes to maintaining the illusion. Being a bigger person means that parts won't look as big on you as they would on a smaller person. Because of this, I think it's easier for bigger people to pull off a seamless look. For example, it's easier for me to wear tighter fitting clothes and have the suit look proportionally correct. And like, I don't really do that very often. I don't like tight fitting clothes, even when I don't suit, when I wear normally, you know, because it just highlights the parts of me that I feel take away from the illusion of suiting. I'm just going to use the main example for me, my stomach. If I wear a really tight fitting shirt, first of all, it's tighter, so it makes it look kind of weird when I have these big old arms and big hands, and then my shirt's super tight, you know. So it takes away from the uniform look that I feel partial should have. And when you look at me, I want to see a cat, not a human dress as a cat, if that makes sense. So, if I wear tight-fitting clothes, you can clearly see the aspects of me that make me human, you know, as opposed to a kitty. And of course, I know I'm not a cat. I'm just saying, in terms of maintaining the illusion, it helps to talk like this. So, I know I'm not a cat. So, being a bigger person, slight advantage. There's also cons, because if you don't get clothes that fit you, it will also break the illusion. So it's a very tight line that I walk personally. And I'm going to talk about types of clothing after I talk about smaller people, right? So, if you're a smaller people, I suggest wearing as many parts as you have, because it's harder to pull off the illusion, in my opinion. It's important to make sure you have a balanced look. Like I said, visual balance. If you have big hands, little arm, you know, that would be strange. Even big arm, little hand looks weird. So, I suggest wearing larger clothes, baggier clothes, things that sort of bulk you up. Something good that I like to wear personally are joggers, which are sort of, I want to say, like drop crotch pants. The crotch comes down pretty far, and so it makes you sort of look, I want to say gangly almost, because they tend to thin down at the bottom of the pants. And like, that's where it does become a problem, when they thin down, because they have like skinny legs. And if you wear skinny pants, like skinny joggers or skinny jeans that taper a lot, I suggest wearing a cool pair of like sneakers or boots as opposed to feet paws, because if you wear feet paws and skinny pants, it tends to look very unbalanced and proportionally incorrect. Like the feet will be too big for your legs. So, unless you have very small, thin feet paws, which I have not found, if you find some, let me know. I want them. But it tends to just be unbalanced universally. So, if you do wear skinny jeans, skinny pants, then I suggest wearing arm sleeves or a bulky top, because even though your legs are thinned out, there's good balance between your top and your bottom. Because, you know, a fursuit head, arm sleeves, and paws tend to make you look very big on this half of your body. And if you wear skinny pants, it's sort of hit or miss, I think, but you can pull it off visually if you get the balance right. So as far as shirts go, for smaller people, wear something baggy, because if you don't and you wear a very tight-fitting shirt, it's gonna look like similar to how I talked about just now. You know, your arms will be very thin and the paws will make your hands look very big, and so proportionally it will be incorrect. And if you don't have arm sleeves, an old standby for me is like a flannel or a cool sweatshirt or a crew neck. They tend to make you look bulkier and push the whole illusion and make it more like believable, so to speak. So, as an aside, jean jackets, other types of loose-fitting jackets, like I have a varsity jacket, anything that will make you bigger is good if you're a small person. So, if you do not have arm sleeves, those are good options. Jacket, sweatshirt, crew neck, flannel. If you do have arm sleeves, I like to wear short sleeve button-ups and Hawaiian shirts, you know, because they kind of just hang. And that brings me into my next point. button-up shirts. Another tip that I find very helpful when I dress myself in suit is layering clothes. It's a fashion tip that I learned from my friend That Stupid Snow Fox, or Nick. It gives you more depth and it makes you bulkier, and I think it gives your look a lot more context when you layer your clothes. I'm not talking Disney Channel layering, you know, with like pointless socks and like 3 pairs of pants. I'm saying reasonable, something you would wear out of suit, right? So, I usually wear a graphic tee like this one. I made this one. This is my character 51. So, I'm not wearing layers right now because it's 1 a.m. and I'm already sweaty and I wanted to record this video. So, here I am. Anyways, graphic tee or tank, and then you could put another button up on there, a short or long sleeve shirt depending on whether you have arm sleeves or not, flannels, jackets, anything that has a zipper or a button that, you know, can just kind of hang open. I find that when you leave stuff open like that, it sort of definitely bulks you up, gives a more even profile, and it's looser, so it's more flowy and not, you know, tight to your body. Like I said, flannels, jackets. My favorite is my baseball jersey, which I wear in almost every set of fursuit photos that I have. I just really like the way it looks with my arm sleeves and my suit in general. So as far as the graphic tees go, you can literally wear any shirt. I have shirts from Walmart. I have shirts from Target. Then I have my furry shirts, which I have a lot of. I have a lot of Hyena Agenda. I have a lot of Nomad Complex. I have this one I made myself. You know, I have some from AC Art. Anything that you want to wear, support your favorite furry artist, or, you know, even a shirt from Walmart, it doesn't matter. But that's what I wear when I layer clothes. Another observation that I've taken is that using stuff like bandanas, collars, ribbons, they're very valuable when it comes to bulking up your appearance because it adds more visual weight around the neck area, but it also makes it more uniform. Like typically, when I take photos, I have my collar and my bandana around my neck. I'm not, like I said, I'm not right now because it's 1 a.m. and this is very casual. But if you have especially if you have a small fursuit neck, I suggest this because luckily I have long pile fur here, and so I can get away with it if I wanted to. But if your neck is short, oddly shaped, fursuit bandana. I just think accessories tend to make your look a lot more believable and therefore aids in the balance. So, if you want a tip for making sure your look is balanced, take a picture of yourself in suit in your outfit of choice and draw a line around the outside of yourself on another layer, and then remove the photo and see if it looks seamless, together, and proportionately correct, because by doing this you remove all the complex blah of your suit and you just see shapes. I think that is a very valuable tool when it comes to making balanced fursuit partial looks. So these are just some general tips off the top of my head. If you have any other questions, feel free to message me. If you disagree, that's fine. I did say it was my opinion, and I said there is absolutely no correct way to dress yourself. These are just some guidelines that I would have liked to have had when I first got my partial.